And greetings and welcome to earGROUND, Your Voices Amplified. My name is Plot Mark and welcome to the platform that brings you some of the amazing creatives from Zimbabwe and around Africa. And today I'll be speaking to my sister from another mother. She's amazing. She's a wonderful person, an author, a coach, and a founder of a social organization. Her name is Florence Mudzingwa, and she just released a book. About 2 months ago, she dropped a book which is called Love Life, The Art of Living Your Dreams. And this is a beautiful book I've managed to read through. And I thought for our book review today, let's bring her onto the program and be able to speak to her. So I'm going to be crossing live to Florence. So stay tuned. We're coming back right after this. Your Voices Amplified is the place to be, and today we're amplifying the voice of somebody who's been doing some amazing work. Florence, welcome to earGROUND.
Thank you, Plot. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's such an honor to have you on the program. We had recorded our program 3 months ago, but unfortunate circumstances made sure that we lost the footage and we had to redo this.
Yeah, those are the challenges of technology. But well, we can always do it. You and I are still there.
True. And let me take you back before we talk about your book. You mentioned challenges there. You're one person that has a life of overcoming challenges. How do you remember your childhood?
My childhood was a bit complicated because of my disability. You know, it's a disability where one grows up very fragile, but as you grow up, you grow stronger and stronger. So it was one way I would be in and out of hospital so many times, but in all that, we overcame.
Wow, great. And overcoming, reading through your book in chapter 1, there's a part where you talk about your mother being the pillar of your faith. Tell us about that connection.
Yes, my mother never, you know, when I grew up, the doctors had said that I would live up to 5 years. But my mother never told me until I was on my 18th birthday. That's when she said that and she broke down. And, you know, I didn't realize that is what they had said. So to me, I found it as a woman who was really had faith. Because, you know, if you're told that, and in those days, you could actually believe what the doctor said, and she would not maybe even take me to school and just say, well, we wait for the day that, you know, the doctor said she would live up to. But she took me to school, and I lived a normal life just like any other child in the house.
Wow, great. And what did that do to you, hearing your mother mention this at a later age?
It was very heartbreaking, and also I was surprised that, oh, so invent, but now I'm 18. But you know, I really didn't want to take it in a negative way, to think that, oh, maybe anytime I'll also die. It also grew my faith that, you know, I'll say, okay, I'll make the most of my life, the way I live, the way I do certain things. And I think those words alone made me the woman I am today. Because, you know, I always want to look at life in a positive way and never think about the ups and downs.
Wow. You know, that is quite encouraging because you have managed to document this in your book, you know, and you deeply and profoundly talk about your experiences, but still being able to really inspire the next person to have a very strong sense of living their life, living, and having that art of living, their dreams. Why that title, Love Life, the Art of Living Your Dreams?
Love life, the art of living your dreams. Um, it's something that I inspired me. During this pandemic, a lot of people, we were going through a lot: anxiety, suicidals, depression amongst the youth, even the adults, and a whole lot of things were happening. But so I just said to myself, the way we need to look at how we live and how we appreciate the little things in life. It's not about the big things,
Yeah.
but the little things in life. If you look at it and just say, you know what, I want to love my life each and every day.
Yes.
The struggles that I go through, they really don't matter if you don't really focus on them. So, love life was to say, love your life, and also looking at where I came from. I could be a bitter or sad, depressed woman because I would say, oh, life was so unfair to me. There's so many challenges I missed along the way. There's so much that you can look at in a negative way, and it depresses you. But I said, no, love life the way you are now, the way where you are going. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, but love life in all circumstances.
Wow, that is powerful because you have literally lived the title that you gave to the book, and I'm going to read one of the quotes there where you say, your life's purpose and mission are important. It takes a lot of effort to recognize that you have the power to create the kind of life that you want to live. Well,
That is true.
and what exactly did you mean by those words?
Pardon?
Now, I was asking what you meant by those words to say that your life's purpose and mission are important, and it takes a lot of effort to recognize that you have the power to create the kind of life that you want. This power to create the life that we want. How much power do we have as people to create the life that we want?
It takes a lot of courage, as I said. Like each and everyone has a vision and a desire that to say, I want to prove it. I want to do this. Like I want to give you as an example. You are a content creator. Nobody knows the effort that you put, the time that we spend. We celebrate you and we enjoy your content. But do people really know the amount of time you take researching and sleeping and studying? All of us. It takes a lot.
Yeah,
And
true.
that is the kind I was talking about. To say that courage alone. Everybody wants to be an author, everybody wants to do something, but you've got to take a lot of time and a lot of courage and a lot of determination. It's not easy. But if you just dream about it, that's why they're the procrastinators and the go getters.
Yes.
It all depends where you're putting your mind and your focus on. If you prioritize a certain thing, go for it and don't look back to say, oh, the obstacles that I'm facing right now, just go for it and it will work out.
Wow, great. And being an author, is it something that you also dreamt of at some point in your life?
Never, never. Actually, even talk about my life, it was something I never dreamed of.
Wow.
But the pandemic and also being a life coach, when I went through the process of being a life coach in 2020,
Yes.
I realized that, I was someone who was very reserved and I enjoy celebrating myself, not in public and all. But my master coach, he encouraged me that, you know what, you've got a lot to give out there. And you could actually speak what your life, everything about you. Someone else can learn something. And, to me, I would just say, okay, it took a whole lot of effort. So when during the pandemic and the lockdown, I really started thinking, what am I going to be doing? What about if I just jot something out that can inspire people, my life? it's something that I can talk about effortlessly. But it's going to be an encouragement to someone, and that's what I wanted to do. And
Wow.
that's how the author was bathed. But it's not in my to-do list. There's nothing about me becoming an author anyway.
Yes.
So I thank God that He just gave me the grace to do it.
Wow, and congratulations because you did it, you made it, and you launched your book about almost 2 months ago. And the event was quite colorful. I'm just gonna pull a picture from the event, and um, what are some of the testimonies or the responses and the feedback that you're getting from people that are reading the book so far?
The response is some are taking it as a tool for personal development, and others are also saying that it's helping them emotionally, because sometimes people look down upon themselves, that self pity, to say, "Oh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be." So one friend of mine actually said, your book, I was very low and I was traveling to Blawayo, and I took it with me to say on the bus I want to read. So she was going to see her sick mom, but she says, as I read your book in the car, in the bus, I
Yes.
really felt encouraged, and my whole perspective of life changed at that moment, and I was feeling calm again. And others, they are seeing it as um, a tool for emotional intelligence, where they're saying, the way you manage to handle your emotions, your thoughts, and all that. Because one thing I believe is you are the creator of your own life. And I believe more in self-talk,
Yes.
those difficult moments. We most of the time we let people describe us, and we let people portray what they want to see in us.
Yes.
But you have to tell yourself what you want. Who are you? And so people are beginning to that self assessment, where sometimes we don't want to hear something, even you plot. There are certain things this is not right, or this I have to change.
True.
But you really don't want to go straight to yourself. But when somebody tells you, it upsets you.
True. True.
But if you had really sat down and introspected on your own, you could actually have overcome it. So that's what most people are saying. That book, it's making us reflect personally about the way we live our lives and how we should live it.
Wow, that is powerful. That is deep. I'm actually learning from your words. And there is a part where you speak in the book. You talk about your educational life at King George, and that you learned self-discipline.
Yes. At work, it was very difficult. Maybe I can start with school.
Yes.
At school, in high school, we used to stay at a girl's house. So our cut of our school fees was given to buy groceries for ourselves. You know
Yes.
how it is when you're young, you all want to eat the best and do the best. But we knew that if you had to buy chocolate or want to buy cakes, by the time it's Friday, you don't have food in the house. So we learned to prioritize to buy that which is important for the house, and we it made us grow up having that Ubuntu culture to say, if we want
Wow.
something nice, let's put together our pocket money and buy pudding or ice cream.
Wow.
So those things, and sometimes you wake up on a Saturday, you don't want to do your laundry, but you had to wake up and clean the house and do the laundry. So you ended up having that discipline. And at work, um, the boss that I worked for,
Yes.
it was a Microsoft company. So you know how technology evolves and all.
True.
He wasn't a man who would take excuses. to say, oh, I couldn't do this because of that. He'll tell you that, did you try this? So he wanted, if you say I can't, you have to have your reasons of why you couldn't do it. And then he wants you to explain the stages you've done. So that made me, you had to research a lot and find out for yourself. And it made me have a lot of discipline in my work, because you knew that if the big man comes, he does not want explanations. He wants to see his work, and then he would help you after. So you got so disciplined in the sense that you had to make sure that you know what you want to do and give your explanations.
Wow, that is deep. I would want to learn more and more, because I mean these are some of the principles that we always take for granted in life, and we look at things as okay, A and B, and we really don't pay attention to such. Just the ability to self-discipline, especially um, right now in Zimbabwe, everyone is like in a care mode. A lot of people. So the end justifies the means. Whatever that I do, as long as I get to the next point, and even if I want to get on top of the ladder, it means even if I have to pull down Florence, I have to pull it down so that I get my way up. But that self-discipline, I think, is a very, very important principle. Thanks a lot to everybody who's watching on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Facebook, where we are streaming on earGROUND. And I really appreciate, I'm speaking there to Florence Mudzingwa, who's the founder of Hope Resurrect Trust, and she's also an author. And we're talking there about her book, a book that is called Love Life, the Art of Living Your Dreams. And this is a powerful book that I recommend everyone to get this copy, because it basically reflects and touches on so many things that a lot of people struggle with, but also it's a very inspirational book that is based on the reality and the life of Florence Mudzingwa. And you then got into the NGO business. What started? You started working, and then you set up your own organization, or you set up the organization whilst you were working?
Yes. When I started working, I just wanted to set up an organization. What drove me to do that was, when I left school, most girls, I would ask them, what are you going to do in life? And they would all say that we're going to sit home, because I don't have relatives that are in the city, or my parents can't afford to take me to college or anything. So to me, having come from a very supportive family, it kind of like really touched me. And I said, what can I do in life to help the next person? It doesn't have to be big, but that fulfillment to just help someone was my passion. And I would save up my money, because I worked and we earned commission as well. So I saved up my money until I was able to raise enough to 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 get a notary lawyer. But when the time is right and when God sees your desires, when I found a notary lawyer, and one of my friend, a colleague I'd worked with 5 years ago, just said, you know what, Florence, my husband's now qualified for law and is a notary lawyer. He can do it free of charge for you.
Wow.
All you have to do is to pay the deeds. So, yes, and then I ran around. But after that, because I wanted to help, I wanted to help in the right channels. That's why I had to register it. And I said, whether it's gonna grow or not, but I want to live according to the law of our country.
Wow, great. And I mean, you've continued to do a lot of amazing work, and you didn't stop there. A few years back, you graduated from the Zimbabwe Open University. Congratulations once more. Um, how
Thank you.
easy or how difficult was it to complete the program?
The program, it was distant learning from Zimbabwe Open University. That is where also I got some lot of discipline. But well, that there I can only say that it was easy for me, because discipline was part of me. But I got to study alone and would go for what do we call this in class classes and exams. But we only went for in class classes like once every month, a weekend. And but some of the places they were not wheelchair friendly, but I there was no day that I complained because I've learned that in life you just maneuver yourself, try and
Yes.
find what works best for you. And so the teachers would be amazed that I was always on time and always handed in my assignments. And our assignments we used to hand in online. So the course was quite, yes, it was demanding, but because of the discipline that I had learned at a younger age, I managed to pull through. And all the exams, we wrote all in all there are 38 modules, and none
Yes.
of them did I ever repeat. So yes, I read a lot, and also I think maybe that's where bathing of the author came through, because after my after my uni degree, I now was fascinated about researching a lot.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. I'm encouraged. I've been contemplating for years to enroll and do my first undergrad, but I've been contemplating from time to time. Oh, maybe it's too late, or maybe I shouldn't do it. But
Just try and get an online one.
great. I think I need to definitely do that. Thanks a lot for the encouragement. And you mentioned something very important there. You talked about, um, places, institutions in Zimbabwe where it's very difficult for people with disability to access. You know, um, how has this been for you? And do you think Zimbabwe is moving in the direction of being very inclusive uh, to people living with disability?
It's something that is very difficult, because in Zimbabwe, if you have to travel by public transport, you need to have your assistant that you pay for, and you pay for your wheelchair as well. Especially, I'm going to talk about the physically disabled, since I'm physically disabled,
Yes.
something that I experience. But fortunately for me, although it's a bit it's also expensive that I have to move with a taxi. But the buildings and all is very difficult. And what a part of our advocacy work with Hope Resurrect, because me being in the professional uh, sector, I advocate for employment opportunities. But most of the time it's very difficult for a person with a disability to find employment, because some of the challenges are the buildings that are inaccessible, and also how a person can get there. Because imagine if a combi is RTGS 100, you
Yes.
have to, if you are disabled, you have to have 300 RTGS, and that's going to just going and coming back, you need 300. So it's 600 a day. How much are you earning? It's very difficult for someone
Wow.
to really navigate if you are a person with a disability, because there are no buses, that are wheelchair friendly, or public transport that is also wheelchair friendly. And also, if you move alone, there's that fear again of abuse. The guys that carry you, the conductors,
Yes.
how they're gonna manage you. It's just so complicated. But those are the things. Yes, you look at them and they quite depress you, but in the end, you end up, because you want to live your life, you just end up trying to find what works best for you. But it's really something that you get used. As for me, I've experienced both lives. I've visited England.
Yes.
We wanted to, being us, the Africans, there was a
Yes.
bus that came, and my sister was like, let's go in there, I'll carry you. Do you know that the conductors, they refused? And they said,
Wow.
the next bus is coming, which is accessible with a wheelchair for her. So wait for that bus.
Wow.
And we're like, wow. So, those kind of things, if there was a way, really, if I was someone who had money or the
Yeah.
powers that big, I would really consider something for persons with disabilities, transport that is accessible, just for
Yes.
someone to live their life. Because some of the challenges with they feel like we feel depression and all, they're caused with the little things that we don't really look at.
Wow.
I went to the National Archives of Zimbabwe yesterday.
Yes.
The place inside, it's very accessible. But getting there, I asked them and I said, you know what? I'm a bit tiny and my wheelchair is a bit easy to access. But I looked at and I said to them, if there's someone who has a very big wheelchair and they are also big, how do they access this place? Who will carry them? It's very difficult. So, those challenges.
Wow. I hope, the powers that be are also listening, or the word gets to the right offices. Definitely, I think it's something that I'm also concerned about, because at one time we wanted to do a production, and one of the vision companies was he had two people that were living with disability, and they started asking if the venue that we were operating from was also inclusive, and it was not in place. It was not accessible with a wheelchair. It was not the stage. Everything was almost difficult. And they said, we've got a policy. If we cannot make it, if our artists cannot make it on stage and be safe on stage, it's difficult out of even the audience. So we ended up not even going through with that project because of that experience. And it sort of rang a bell in my head to say, these are the things that we take for granted. Uh, but we need to look at this. And the book now, um, where can people find a copy if they want to get one?
Okay, the book is at 22 Connaught Road. It's a Glow Day Spa in Mount Pleasant,
Mount Pleasant.
in Avondale.
Okay.
Yeah. And also at Ronet Communications in Angwa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
And also they can get in touch with me. They can inbox me on my Facebook page,
right.
Florence Mudzingwa,
Yes.
and we can make a plan.
Wow, that is great. That is great. Are we gonna see another book coming through?
I'm still praying about it. But well, a lot of people, were asking me that, why don't you have version 2.2? Because others were saying you didn't explain about, your boardrooms, how you would speak to executives. So maybe you should have just given a bit of highlights. And others are also saying we didn't hear about your love life, your crushes, and all of it. I was like, okay, we'll think about it.
Great, great. But before you go, I'm going to talk about this very special woman. I know we've mentioned her in passing in the beginning, but she occupies a greater deal of your book. And I had a chance to have an interview with her. And like I said, it's unfortunate that I lost all this footage. The interview was deep, and uh, it was one of the most compelling conversations that I've ever had. And your mother, I'm just pulling up a picture here of you and her at the launch of the book. Her significance
Pardon?
in your life.
The significance, pardon?
I was asking about your mother and her significance in your life.
Well, she's been there, now that I'm all grown, I we I live with her, but she hardly sees me because I'm always on the run. Not on the run outside, but
Yes.
on the run in my work or in my bedroom where I find peace and everything doing my work. I call her that, yeah, the master chef. She's been always there for me, standing for me, And also, her now growing a bit older, I tell her that I want you to retire now. You don't need to worry about me. Now it's my turn to look after you and for you to just celebrate the achievements that I'm doing because you worked so hard over the years looking after me and all the challenges, cheering me before I even knew what life was. She was there always. So it's my desire that, one day I would really want to make it in life where I would really treat her where she just enjoys life. But for now, I'm doing my best to give back what she gave me.
Great, great. And you are cousins with Leroy Gopal, the superstar.
Yes, we grew up together.
Great. How was it like? How was the experience like? Did you see him become a star that he is today?
It was good. He's always been someone who loved to entertain people, And him and I were the notorious ones. I guess because we're the little ones. And we had an aunt who loved to dance,
Okay.
rumba, and she was Kanda Bongo Man. She would dance to Kanda Bongo Man. So yeah, Leroy and I were always considered the little Yondo sisters because we would dance so hard with her and enjoy. But he was also naughty. I remember one time he put me in trouble because he had a bit of long hair, and then he put a chewing gum in his hair, and then so he had to have a bold haircut, and then he lied that Florence put this chewing gum in my head. So we had a lot of fun, and
Nice.
I'm happy for him. He's always saying that, Flo, your life is amazing. One day I want to do a movie about your life and how we grew up. So I tell him that we'll work on that. We need to do a movie.
Great. Wow, that is beautiful. Well, Flo, I really appreciate me and you, we can talk forever, and I'd love to continue this conversation, but it's been inspirational, it's been moving, and thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been wonderful, and I really appreciate.
Well, thank you so much, Flo. I'm one person who's always grateful for the little things. And for you, you've been there for me, even when I
Thanks a
told
lot,
you
sis.
about the book, you supported me so much, and I'm really grateful. And I want to be grateful for everyone who's been supporting me. They have really, people have been buying the book. The support is amazing, and I just want to say thank you to everyone.
Wow, that is beautiful. And thank you also to everybody who's been watching the show on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. The platform is earGROUND, and I've been speaking there to Florence Mudzingwa, who is an author, and she's a coach, and she's also a speaker, and she runs her own foundation called the Hope Resurrect Trust. And she's been doing a lot of work that empowers, especially persons living with disability. Thank you so much, Florence. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Great. So to everybody who's been watching, my name is Plot Marco. It's been earGROUND, and it's been awesome. And until next time, remember, we bring you so many conversations. Feel free to send us suggestions of the people that you want us to bring onto the platform so that we can actually bring them on, speak to them, and continue with the conversation. Until next time, remember, New Voices Amplified. I'm out.